everybody, Anthony Dodge, Mile Train Outsider, back with you, and I'm going to do a mail call video. I don't normally do mail call videos. Normally I order stuff and I will do, if it's stuff from my Mailcall system, which it usually is, I just do a Mailcall Outsider episode on it. But this particular box is a little different. So let's set the stage before I open it. Everybody knows that a couple of years ago I bought a Yellow Submarine Eurostar. I'm a Beatles fan, but it was by Hornby and it doesn't work on my layout. I bought it because I'm a Beatles fan and I just thought it was cool, and basically it's a shelf queen. It did come with some Hornby tracks, so I have run it, but it will never run on my system because converting it to AC 3-rail just not in the realm of possibilities. Well, when I was in the UK, I bought a Mallard because the Mallard is one of my favorite trains. I'm not into steam locomotives, and yet the Mallard has always been eye-catching to me since I got into the hobby, and the fact that it set the all-time steam land record, and I think it still holds it. So my last couple of live streams, I've been running it on a little loop of track on the floor behind me. So I picked up a couple of things to improve this situation because, first of all, you may know from last Friday live stream, as this video goes up, it was last week Friday, the El Cheapo Hornby controller, the little black box with the square knob, I've been having problems with it. It stops working, I tinker with it, I get to work for a bit, and then it burns out again. The Hornby track, I'm not impressed with, and to be honest, the quality of my Mallard I don't think is the best. But I needed a new controller, and when I went to online to shop for controllers, even the basic Bachmann controllers were running fairly expensive. And considering this is just a loop of track I'm messing around with and it's not part of the layout, that's where I'm not going to spend a lot of money. So I went to eBay. Now obviously this box is very big in relation to a controller. Well, that's because, well, I'll just open the box and show you what I got, but that's what started with. I was going to buy a controller, and well, there is a controller in here and a little bit more. So let's show you what I got. So do I have here? Well, let's open this up. There's actually, anytime I do something like I did here, there's a bit of guilt with it. But I was looking for a controller, a cheap DC controller, analog controller. And several of you in my live stream offered to send me one for free, and I appreciate that. I just wanted to get other things as well, and it was very generous for people to offer to send me one of their spare controllers. But I looked on eBay first before I decided to take anybody up on their offer. And I found this. So as you look in the box here, you can see there's a whole bunch of stuff here. Even some stuff in a medicine bottle here. I'm not quite sure what that is yet. But this is a huge package. Well, these are bridge supports, but this is all, in case you can't see, let me open some of this up so you can see it, but this is just a crap load of Bachmann Easy Track, which is kind of cool because, well, it's similar to my C-Track. It's not nearly the quality of my C-Track, but that's what it is. So there's a whole ton of this. This is from a rather decent-sized layout. And there's a little bit of guilt with it, but then here is the Bachmann controller. And I was seeing these for $50 to $70 online, new. And this one has been certified to work, plus the power pack. So I've got the Bachmann, there it is. Make sure you can see this. So I've got the little Bachmann drive here. It's an older one, but it should do exactly what I need it to do. And so yeah, and this is definitely better than that Hornby POS. So let me set some of this out of the way. I'll block the camera. But yeah, it's just a whole bunch of Bachmann Easy Track. There's curves in here as well. Yep, there's all the curves. So this was from a, I think it was a 4x8 double loop layout. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and build a little bit of this up on my floor and let you see it, but that's really what I got here. There's also all kinds of supports because you could build a figure 8 with this. I'm not going to build a figure 8. So I'll build this up, and before I end this video, I'll show you a little bit of the loop in process. Okay, if you look here, I'll come around this way. I've got a decent sized loop put around down here. This is just on the floor of my basement. You know, my layout's over here, and this is actually the walkway to the bar and to the laundry room. But anyhow, so this was not all the track. In fact, I do have a couple straights left, 3 straights left that I could salvage. A couple of them weren't great, but they said that not all the pieces were in good shape. And I only had to throw away 2 curves, and I've got a ton of curves left. So you could build quite an interesting little circuit, as well as in the box I have a bunch of bridge supports, as I showed when I was opening it. So again, you can't see very well, it's dark there, but I do have the Mallard and the 3 coaches and this new Bachmann controller. Now yes, I have checked that power's on, and yes, I've checked that the Mallard did work and get the direction set, so this is not a blind test, but it is a blind test in terms of pulling the cars. So let's give it some power. As you can see, we got the red light, which means power's going. And there we go. The track definitely needs a cleaning. And I've got it at a very slow step, so it did struggle. I'm going to speed it up a bit. And I won't even guarantee that the tracks are going together well. They definitely need some cleaning, and there's been some use over the years on them. But I have this at a very low speed, but if I crank it up and just try to let it run in, pulling this weight. The one thing I will say, even though there's clearly some track needs cleaned, and at this speed you're not really even seeing it, but yes, the tracks need cleaned. But I was having just a little bit of problem with the Hornby track and the Mallard kind of losing one of its drive wheels. It would kind of derail, not the cars themselves, but the locomotive would kind of derail. And on this track, it's running really smooth. So I hope that's a trend that continues. So this is not a running session. This is just seeing how the Mallard handles this track. And obviously, I have a working controller now, and I don't have to keep trying to fiddle with the Hornby one. So I will go ahead and go low and see if we can get a couple of close-ups of the Mallard coming through. There we go. Again, I'm not really trying to do a running session. I am just doing a mail call and then checking to see how well the track works. All right, back to me. So that was my first ever official mail call video, I think. Maybe I've done one in the past and forgotten about it. I paid $40, which includes shipping, for all that track and that controller. That exact controller was going for $50 to $70 new on Amazon, and my model train shop only had the controller and a startup kit for $150. And so I decided to look at other options before I bought a brand new kit. Use track, obviously it needs cleaned, but already I'm seeing this Bachmann Easy Track is definitely better than the Hornby stuff I was using. But there's also, this is the third time I've now bought something for a lot less than what it's worth, because the person on eBay is basically clearing out a relative's property and has no idea what it's worth and doesn't want to be bothered. Things are obviously, and they're just trying to get rid of it. And so maybe they know how much it's worth, but just sold it for so cheap. But you know, $40, this is a crap load of track and a controller. And yes, it's used, but it works for me. And to me, that was $40 well spent. I got rid of that crappy Hornby controller, although this is sort of like the Bachmann, one of the lower grade Bachmann controllers. But when I've looked at people who use Bachmann and Bachmann controllers, many of them use this one. I don't need the heavier duty, even for DC operation, because that's all this is DC operation. And I'm not going to have a permanent DC setup, but if I want to run my Eurostar or I want to run the Mallard, I now have the potential to showcase it, because I also have a camera that will now go down on the floor and film it for my live streams, as the case may be. So until my next live stream or my next purchase in the Mailcall Outsider reviews, I will say, auf Wiedersehen, tschüss, happy trains, everybody, take care.